Hi, to write a solution for selection sort in JavaScript, we can first illustrate the process of selection sort using this example. So let's start with position at 0, and let's declare our minimum position at 0 too. So we start compare the rest of the array with this minimum position. So 4 is bigger than 2, 3 is bigger than 2, move on. 1 is smaller than 2, then we update our minimum position with position 3. The value 1 is using. Then we will compare 0 with the value we store in minimum position at 3. 2. So 0 is smaller than 1, the minimum will get updated to 4. So by the end of the first iteration, our minimum position is 4, our initial position is 0, so we swap them. 0 and 2 get swapped, so our array will look like this. Then we move on to index at I, at 1. Then we start initialize our minimum using the same number. So 3 compared to minimum position. 3 is smaller, so our minimum get updated to 2. 1 is smaller than 3, so our minimum get updated to 3. Then 2 is actually bigger than 1, so our minimum stay put. So by the end of this iteration, our minimum position will be at 3 and our initial position is at 1. So 1 and 3, the value stored in them will be swapped. So 4 and 1 will be swapped. 0, 1, 3, 4, 2. Then we move on to position at 2 and initial our minimum value is 2 as well. So we start with the rest of the array. 4 bigger than 3, so we move on. 2 smaller than 3, so our minimum get updated to 4. So by the end of this iteration, 2 and 4 will be swapped. So our array will look like this. Last step, we move on to index at 3, and we compare the rest of the array with that value. 3 is smaller than 4, our minimum get updated to 4 as well. Then 3 and 4 will be swapped. In the end, our array will be sorted. So we will actually end our iteration by the second to last element because the last element doesn't have any elements on its right-hand side to compare itself with. Let's use the same example to start writing our solution. Let's first check if we have enough elements inside the input array by using if statement. If the elements are smaller than 2, we return the input array directly, or otherwise we start writing our sorting by using a for loop and ask it to iterate through the array until the second to last position. Then we start to declare our minimum at I, initialize the minimum placeholder with the value I. Then we write another for loop starting with I plus 1. So we are using the rest of the array compared with our minimum position. So J is smaller than the input array, the length. So our array will iterate including the last element J++. Then we are looking for scenarios like input array at J is smaller than input array at the index of our minimum value. Then if so, then we update our minimum with the element we are pointing to with J. Then by the end of this for block, let's check our minimum, check if it's changed or not. If it's changed, it means this block of code is executed at least once. So therefore we need to swap values. We can swap values using a typical implementation, declaring temp first and put whatever value we stored in I first. Then we update the value stored in I with the value stored in the minimum position. Then we update the value stored in the minimum position with that value that were initially stored in input array I, which is temp. Then we by the end of this for block, I believe our array will be sorted, so we can return our input array here. Then what's left to do is we could console log and invoke our selection sort here, passing a copy of the unsorted array like this. Then we can run our solution. Node selection sort. As you can see from here, our array is being sorted. So this function is going to work on values like 0, negative integers, negative float as well. It won't be a problem. Let's try it again. Yes, as you can see, again, our array is being sorted. So this is typically how you write a selection sort algorithm in JavaScript. Thank you for watching.